Hi, roommate families. I wanted to check in before we send the kids home for winter break, which is right around the corner. I'm sure you're all very excited to spend a couple of weeks together, and we'll miss the students tremendously. We'll look forward to seeing them in January. The kids are sort of growth spurting right now, so sometimes we notice after this vacation that we actually can see a difference. They sort of grow right before our eyes. So we'll look forward to getting back with them when they return. I just wanted to touch base really quick and talk for a few minutes about what's going on in history at this point in the year. So we've just wrapped up our study of the American Revolution, and we'll be studying ancient Greece when we return in January, and then moving on to ancient Rome. In this space from Thanksgiving to winter break, we've been studying the Constitution, but we've really been starting to lay the groundwork for this transition to ancient Greece. There's some really interesting connections between these two subjects, these two units. That I wanted to talk about with you today. So one is obviously democracy. That's sort of the obvious connection. But we love to take things as far as possible here at Sage and get the kids into some advanced studies whenever possible. And so we're looking at the connection between sort of philosophy and democracy, thought, intellectualism, and why these two time periods in history were such profound, significant periods of change. So we sort of talked about this period when the Founding Fathers were writing the Constitution as sort of a golden age in America, much like the golden age of Athens that we're about to study. It was a very short time period where a lot happened, a lot changed, and we're wondering why that is. One connection that we found is that these were both times and places where intellectualism was valued very strongly, particularly in Athens, but also at the time of the writing of the Constitution. And it was also a time when people were encouraged by their culture to be very intellectually flexible. So we've been talking a lot about what it means to change your mind, to make compromises, and what the Founding Fathers had to do in order to work together and get that Constitution signed and in place. We're also looking at some interesting connections between culture in terms of this balance between humility and confidence. This is something that I'd really like to help have the students work on and help them discover as they go along with their education. But really, it's a lifelong process. The idea is that it supports your own intellectual development and your success, to be confident in what you know and who you are and bring a certain confidence to the things you do, but also to be humble. And this was something that was really embraced and articulated by people during both of these time periods. So we have John Adams as a wonderful example of that during the American Revolution. And then on another side, and a very different side, we actually have Socrates as well existing as an example of this. So it's a way to draw some further connections for the kids and help them think about this a little bit more. So in addition to looking at democracy and philosophy, golden age, what that means, why things happen so quickly, we like to look at other themes and delve a little deeper and ask why. Always with culture, we want to ask why. What was it about the culture that made both of these times so powerful and so significant? And where were the people coming from to be able to cause that to happen? And if we can learn a little bit about ourselves along the way, even better. So it's going to be a very exciting couple months when we return. I'm looking forward to spending some time in ancient history. And we can't wait to see your kids when you get back. Have a wonderful, wonderful vacation. Bye.